Hi. I think it's good news. Gareth is putting his head in like this. Um, just thought I'd contribute something about it. I like what he said about the treaty. This is common sense that it's an outstanding consideration, and there's a reason that it seems to be entirely shepherded in a certain way to where we find ourselves with the social situation and the economic situation and how government is positioning itself in relation to those features in our landscape, right? So I've been on a study course for some time now, and my thoughts of this is that I will say that it is a undisclosed political group that I will conceptualise as the offshore trust fundamentalists. They are an ideology. They are an ideological group that basically they worship money. Yes, they do. But there's a slight problem, right? And that is that the reason that these wealthy people worship money, right, is because they're humans. Because I believe this. I believe that rich people and poor people have exactly the same political self-perception of their respective groups. If you look at the beliefs of poor people in regards to their group and how they perceive other groups, and you look at rich people, how they perceive their group and how they perceive other groups, they are really virtually identical political perspectives when considering the external relationships to their group, right? And I believe this is firmly, exclusively rooted in the philosophy to anxiety. That's how come these two seemingly completely different groups of people actually act in exactly the same way. It's because they both have the same imprint of reality, which is created by the philosophy to anxiety. So I think Gareth will come up against one reality that I will articulate, and that is that courage and anxiety they virtually speak different languages, and they virtually cannot understand each other. And both courage and anxiety both know that, and they are both seemingly willfully ignorant of it, and they continue to and expecting a different outcome, and they seem to they just miss this entirely obvious thing, and so that's what Gareth needs to contend with. That's what he will contend with. That's what actually he is going to contend with. There's all this words and theatre in play, but really that's all that's going on. The anxiety crew, which is actually represented by the offshore trust fundamentalists, because they have this thing with money, right? That really is only a stylistic representation of their philosophy to anxiety, right? How they feel about money, okay? And so what it seems like is this is why anxiety has the moral authority over courage. Because while anxiety doesn't believe in courage, and the courage group do believe in courage, but they also respect anxiety. That's how anxiety keeps getting centre stage in every instance. Okay, and because the general rule is people believe anxiety doesn't exist, okay, that's why everything's going on as it is, and it's gravitating to a worse and worse extent, which is why house prices go up, housing bubbles exist. Exactly how did they conceive that they could set the regulations so that housing bubbles could exist? Okay, that's something that's never been brought up in the media. Why are doctors striking? This is a lapse of competence in the regulatory environment and in governance a long way back. And so I put it to everyone, the universe, that they indeed entirely want things to be exactly as they are. They like people doing drugs. They like lots of crime. They love it because it adds that layer of protection for anxiety, maintaining the moral authority, right? And so this is really the thing of it. Mr. Morgan, if you can go into it acknowledging that courage and anxiety speak different languages that barely understand each other, right? And that anxiety is very, very, very militant almost. It's super fundamentalist, man. And it demands to be in the centre stage all the time. If you can go into it appreciating that fact and have your absolute best forward pack possible fully ready to contend with that, then they will have to acquiesce. Okay, they will have to acquiesce. Okay, because it is the public of the country that generate the economy. It is the middle class that are the majority of the economy. And even some of these people we think are wealthy, they are still the middle class because actually the bank owns everything they've got and they actually technically don't own anything. Technically they have actually got bugger all wealth because it's all trapped inside financial agreements, right? So actually a huge portion of these people with some millions, right, they are knackered because they're so addicted to wealth. They're absolutely committed to that path of being involved with trying to get more wealth. And so therein lies the trick of anxiety, because it's been made known to me that greed isn't a word about anything. It's a political term. What you actually got is money addiction, and this is why this philosophy to anxiety is crucial. That's why not only are the wealthy allowed to ignore all the complaints about their behaviour and what they think is good for us, this means also that the poor, well, all the rest of us, we can't articulate a challenge to what they're doing, because until now nobody has articulated that it's the philosophy to anxiety that's driving all the politics, actually. And that's why the poor and the middle class keep getting ripped off, because this is a rich person's best judgment, and the rest of us really agree with it because of our perspective of anxiety and how we feel about that. And so this is why the real thing is courage and anxiety speak different languages that barely understand each other. And once you factor that into your understanding, then you can articulate how to mitigate that and actually talk in a way that is actually going to produce a result. Because up till now, that's why there is no result. And good luck to us.